What's up, world? My name is Zavian Dre, and this is my podcast, Dopenly Honest, breaking the chains of addiction.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Dopenly Honest. Today we have a good friend of mine by the name of Tyler Dodd. Now, as you can imagine, being young and being in recovery can bring a lot of temptation. You got the club scene, the bar scene, you get the picture. But this particular story is a prime example that with the right mindset, it is possible to be young and stop the use of drugs and alcohol. So let's not waste no time. Let's get straight to it. Hey, we got a good friend of mine today who goes by the name of Tyler. So Tyler, why don't you tell the people a little bit about yourself, if you want to, and go back from as early as your childhood, and we can go from there, buddy.
All right. Well, my name's Tyler. I was born in Louisville, but I was raised out here in Shelbyville. I had a good childhood. My mom, she raised me with her husband who ended up adopting me. I don't know my real dad. He was in the madness, and he did what he thought was best for me and my sister, which was to sign up right so we didn't have to be in that life. Which, like, growing up, I guess I resented him for it because I was confused on why he didn't want to be in my life. But then I grew up and I understood it. Like, he was just trying to do what was best for us. But, like, I grew up good. I really didn't have any struggles or anything like that. I always got what I needed. I didn't always have what I wanted, but I didn't go without. I tend to get in trouble a lot. Like, I don't know. I guess I thrived for that attention growing up. I wanted to fit in, and that was my best way, is like being a class clown or just doing dumb stuff that would get me in trouble, but it would never be in a lot of trouble, so I just blow it off. Like, if I got suspended from school, I took it as, well, I get a little vacation.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoyed not having to go to school, but I liked school at the same time. I was always really good at it. Like, if I tried, I'd get straight A's every time. It was when I stopped trying, stopped going to class, and that's when I really just started walking my own path. I started getting into a lot of trouble around the time I was 15. I dealt with the cops a lot, and like, when I was younger, I was real disrespectful to the cops. I didn't like authority figures. Like, so they'd come over something dumb, like a fight or something, and I'm trying to fight the cops too. And in the long run, it just got me in a lot of trouble. I ended up getting like 23 misdemeanors between the time I was 15 to 17, and a handful of felonies too.
So you like beating up the police?
When I was younger, I did. Then I realized how much trouble you could get into as an adult for it.
Yeah.
Like, I spent some time in juvenile detention center out in Lexington, but it was never like an extended period, so it never like scared me.
A lot of people might think of, why do I ask the childhood thing, and I feel like our childhood has a lot to do with who we are today. I know for me, I'm not going to get into my story, but I just know that I had a fairly decent childhood, you know what I mean? So I really feel like, the more traumatic type of childhood somebody may or may not have had, that they will be more prone to getting into things like addiction and alcoholism. So that's why I ask, just pretty much I try to get like a filler for, where people start at, you know what I mean? Now, you told us a little bit about your childhood. So did it start recreationally for you, like with weed and alcohol, or?
Yeah, definitely. It just started off with weed. I don't know, I was probably 14 when I tried it for the first time. I didn't try alcohol till later, but usually, like a lot of people I know, they say it's the other way around, but I didn't like it at first. The first time I smoked weed and I got high, like, I freaked out and I thought I was dying. And so I didn't do it, but all my friends were doing it still. And like I said before, I always wanted to fit in. So I tried it again, and the second time I did it, I just loved it.
So the first time that you used, did you do it more so to fit in? What led you up to even using or trying anything for the first time?
I think it was just to fit in, because my friends were doing it and I wasn't. But like, even at that age, I never had a problem with it. Like growing up, everyone always told me drugs are bad, marijuana is a gateway drug, and I'm like, Snoop Dogg smokes weed, and he does fine. Like
Yeah.
always looked at it like that. And like even when I first started smoking weed, people would tell me that I need to quit. It's a gateway drug. It can lead to other things, and I was like, no, it's not. Like it's weed. That's all it is. It's legal in California, but it definitely led me to other things because I don't know. It was probably not even 6 months of me smoking weed every day. I got offered pills. It was Xanax, and I took that, and that was the best feeling ever. I didn't remember most of it, but I don't know. I kind of like that feeling where I don't remember what I did, but I know I felt good.
Yeah, I've had plenty of those nights, man, or plenty of those mornings where you wake up off the Xanax, off the hangover from a Xanax, and you don't recall a thing. It's just insane shit that we do. So, with our environment and what's around us, how much do you think that our environment around us plays a role into, drug use? Like, do you think, like, for example, I feel like people that are around that type of thing are more prone to want to try shit and to be involved in that lifestyle. What is your thoughts on that?
I agree with that 100% because, like, none of my family smokes or drinks. They don't even do nicotine. But it was when I started, like, drifting off from home and, like, staying out with other people, hanging out in places I definitely shouldn't have been hanging out at, where it's a normal thing. Like, that's what they do on the daily. And, like, I just see that. And, like, that's what led me up to use, because I don't even think I would use if I wasn't around it all the time, seeing everyone else use it. I think seeing that they were enjoying life, they were looked like they were having fun to me, so I wanted to join in on that fun.
Yeah. And that's the thing, bro. Like, when we out here doing this shit, at first it is fun, man. Like, we get that rush, we get that big dopamine rush. Even I was addicted to going and getting it. Or not even, I was addicted to that, but I was also addicted to getting the money to get high, making the call to the plug to get high, then going and on the drive to get the drugs, then getting the drugs, then doing it, and getting that immediate release and all that cycle, man. It's fun. It's exciting at first, but then it becomes a vicious cycle that they talk about in the meetings, the vicious cycle, jails, institutions, and death. We got so many people out here now that are, it's quite a matter of fact of life and death. And for a long time, it's been fentanyl that's been killing people. Now they got some shit called cyclorphine, and it's pretty much 10 times more strong than fentanyl. And I think some of the shit is even resistant to Narcan. So with me, I can't see myself like, I know I'm one bad choice away from using if I don't continue to do the shit that was taught to me. But I just can't see myself gambling with the shit they got out there now. Like, it's literally life or death, man. And that's why, like, when I seen you come into the meetings and I heard you share for the first time, I'm like, man, like, some of the shit he's talking about, it puts me right in the mind of when I was younger, bro. Like, seeing you, hearing you, you seem like you got an old soul. Like, you don't seem like, like a young hothead or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? And I respected that about you when you got to sharing. And one thing that sticks out to me about what you said that I could relate to was the time that you had to do. Because you was going through some shit. You was having to go to meetings and you knew you was about to go have to do time. So if you don't mind, man, could you let us know about that, man? Like, with that experience, like from the beginning to where you at right now?
Yeah, so like that was an experience I did not think that I would have to deal with in recovery, because I thought like once I'm in recovery, everything's good. And
Everything gonna be sweet,
like
yeah.
yeah, so I had caught my case in June of 2024. also my clean date is June of 2024.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I had sat in jail in Oldham County on this case, and then I was also on bond for another case out in Shelby County, and then I was on probation for another case in Shelby County. So once I caught my case in Oldham County, like I tried to make bond as fast as I could, but it was too late. By the time I placed the bond, that Shelby County already had the holder on me. So I had sat in jail for 6 months, and they told me that I can do my time or go to rehab. And I was like, I'm going to go to rehab anyway, so it'll look good on me when I go to court in Oldham County. So I went to rehab, and like everything was going good. And I really locked in to the program once I got there, because in jail, I knew I wasn't going to use, but I don't know. I feel like if I just would have got out and hit the streets, I would have been back on that cycle within a couple weeks. But going to rehab, I had that accountability, and it's introducing me to people. I have to attend meetings, which I was always the type to say that that's not for me. I'm not the type to go to meetings. Like, it might work for them, but it won't work for me. But man, it works. So I'm fighting that case that whole time, and like I completed the program. It's a 6 to 9 month program, and like their success rate, it's pretty high, but that's only for about a year. Then the relapse rate is crazy too. The amount of people who go back through the program because they've relapsed. But I had went to the graduated the program, became a peer mentor, and then I'm thinking that the judge in Oldham County is going to give me probation because he sees that I'm doing good. Like, I haven't been in any trouble. I didn't get in any trouble in jail. So I had hopes that I'd be able to just get off with it. But I went to court, and he just told me that it's not happening. I got to do my time, which I got lucky because it was only a 4-year sentence, and I knocked it down in 11 months. But after being clean for over a year, having to turn myself in, that was hard. Especially
man.
being in jail, and sometimes it's easier to find drugs in jail than it is when you're on the streets, because that it's just brought to you. I had some days where it was really hard because I had people getting high all around me, people offering it to me. I'm like, no, I'm clean. Like, I work a program. If I didn't have the people that I met through coming to meetings and through rehab, I don't think I would have made it. But I had these resources that I got through it that I can call people.
So when you was locked up, you was calling the people that you had met in the meetings.
Yeah. And just telling them, like, look, I'm having a bad day. I want to get high.
See, and that's the difference, man. Like, you can tell, like, when a person's serious and when a person ain't. The reason why I brought this up is because everything, like what you said, just because you get clean don't mean some fucked up shit ain't gonna happen, man. We still gotta learn to live. And guess what? We gotta learn to live normally without going and putting dope in us. I still struggle with it, bro. Like, just me talking to you, I'm far from healed, man. You know, and I used dope for so long to deal with my emotions, to deal with anything, to cope with anything, whether if I was happy, sad, mad, angry, lonely, no matter what, I used to cover up, to mask those feelings. So now that I'm not getting high, I still got to learn how to deal with those feelings. But it's 10 times harder because for so long I could just, get instant gratification and it would go away. The fact that you was able to have a year clean and to know that possibly I'm going to have to do some time, because I remember you sharing on it. I'm like, man, this little dude is strong, man. Like, you really got some fight in you. And that's what it takes for somebody trying to get clean. You got to have that. You got to be putting that same energy into getting clean that you was, getting high. So to pick back up where you was, you said you had people in there offering you dope and shit?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it's because I'm young and I got a baby face. A lot of people say that they see me in them, which is not a good thing, especially in a place like that. Because the whole time I'm in there and I tell them, like, no, I don't want to get high. Like, I'm clean. I work a program. They're like, you'll be back. I was in the same shoes as you. I had this amount of clean time, and I came back. And the only thing I could tell him is, I'm not you. Like, we all walk our own paths.
Facts.
I don't know. Like, I didn't run this time. I took it head on. Like you said, I was sharing in the meeting all the time because I was nervous about it. I was scared to go back to jail. Like, jail doesn't scare me, but it's the things that can be thrown in your face while you're in there that scares me. I was scared to lose my clean time that I've been working so hard to get. I ended up going and doing SAP, and it was just 80 guys who were all in there on different drug charges, and about 70 of them all had plans to get high on their first day out.
Mm.
And I'm like, my first day out, the first thing I'm doing is going to a meeting. So I was down in Fulton County, which is 4.5 hours from Shelbyville, and it ended up taking 6.5 hours to get back. I got back in town at like 6:45. By 7:30, I was at a meeting that night.
You got back just in time.
Yeah, just in time. I was grateful for it too, because like being in the car, I was still in like a shell shock too, though, because after being gone for so long, you forget what the world's like. I've been around nothing but inmates to going out and like seeing people move at their own will.
Yeah.
It was weird, but
Hey, so Tyler, for our audience, for our viewers, can you explain to us what SAP is? I know what it is. I've been through SAP, made parole upon completion of SAP. Could you explain that, man?
SAP is a substance abuse program. Most of the time people do it because the parole board recommends it. So your chances of making parole are a lot higher if you do SAP. In my case, I had just done SAP on the street at the healing place, so I didn't think I needed to do it again, but where I was locked up at, the only way to get into programs is if you did SAP. So I was like, okay, sign me up. Because I had the dope case, they took me within a week.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of structure in there. It's a lot of holding people accountable and writing tickets on people. And, you know, because that's the main thing. Like, oh, you don't want to be viewed as a snitch and this and that. But if you in SAP, you're going to be telling on somebody, you know. How I did it, I would link up. We would have like a group of us, and we would be like, hey, man, you write this ticket on me, I write this ticket, you know. And you had things like that going on. But
so down there, like, their failure rate was super high. Like, only like 1% of people were actually making it the full 6 months. So they took out accountability completely. No tickets at all.
oh, wow.
You just had to hold yourself accountable once a week.
Yeah.
You had to write a paper on it. And a lot of people just do the same paper every week over and over again. But I took it seriously. Like, you have to describe a behavior that you were not pleased with in yourself. For me, if I'm working the program the right way, there's always something that I can find that I'm not pleased with. I wasn't perfect for 7 days straight. I can't be perfect for 24 hours straight, so I just have to pick the one thing that I felt stuck out the most.
Yeah, I agree, man. I'm an advocate for these drug programs, you know, because a lot of people in addiction and alcoholism, man, we get stuck in the system. You take somebody like me who has nothing but drug charges. Now, I was blessed. I got rehab a lot, but I got, you know, I did over the years, I've done a lot of time. Now, not all at once, but over the years, I've done a lot of jail time. And I think what happens is once we get in the system, we stay in the system. And, you know, for somebody who has drug charges, I don't feel like, you know, that jail is the answer necessarily. I really am an advocate for the rehabilitation. And they say jail is supposed to rehabilitate you, but me and everybody else who's been to jail knows that when you go to jail, most likely, now some people just get scared straight. More often than not, what happens is when we go to jail, when we get out, we have become worse criminals than when we went in.
Yeah,
you know,
I feel like that's what it teaches you too, because
you get your criminology degree, pretty much, more or less.
like you have COs that come through every now and then, but for the most part, you're just surrounded by nothing but other inmates who are teaching you things that probably shouldn't need to know.
Yeah, and you got so much time in there. It's like, you know, ain't nothing. What else is there to do other than sit up in here and talk about crimes that we committed or crimes that we're gonna commit? You know.
Right.
With that being said, I'm an advocate for the rehabs, man. I'm an advocate for the the substance abuse programs. I know at one point, me and my sponsor and a few of my sponsee brothers were taking meetings into the jail. And, I would love to get back to doing that, man. And do you have a sponsor yet?
I
Or
do.
okay, how do you feel about the importance of having a sponsor? Let the people know, for somebody that's just getting clean, why do they need a sponsor?
Man, that was the most important thing to me. Like, I picked my sponsor, I met him at a meeting, and like he came up to me and he asked me if I had a sponsor, and I was like, no. He was like, why not? I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to look for. And like we sat and talked for a little bit, and then I was like, will you be my sponsor? And like we've just clicked ever since, right? He's walked me through a lot of hard times that I've dealt with, like death. I've dealt with death a few times, and like he always answered the phone when I was in jail. Like he's been there. He's been through it before. He might not have been through everything that I've been through, but he's worked the steps. He knows how to deal with tough situations without putting another one in them. And that's what I needed. I couldn't just talk to somebody who hasn't experienced something that they don't know how to not use when they go through it. I feel like having that sponsor to talk to it's one of the most vital parts of my recovery.
Yeah, I can agree, man. My sponsor, man, he not only is a sponsor to me, but he's helps me with just normal life shit. They say a sponsor is just supposed to work you through the steps, but every once in a while you get blessed with a sponsor that does more than that. Now, technically, a sponsor his job is to just work you through the steps, but with that being said, for me, man, sponsorship is, you just gotta have a sponsor, bro. Now, I'm not saying that you're not gonna stay clean if you don't get a sponsor. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, from my experience, my sponsor has been one of the most helpful in my recovery, in my personal recovery. Now, it's the sponsorships. It's also the meetings. It's my home group. Is Another Chance group your home group as well?
It's my home group.
How is the home group beneficial for you today, man, and in your recovery journey?
Well, this group specifically has been important to me because, like I said, I grew up out here in Shelbyville. So I didn't think there was any good people out here. I'm not saying everyone's bad, but
yeah.
everyone I was hanging out with out here, they were getting high in one form or another. And when I came to this group here, like I realized that I can talk to people who are from where I'm from or who live where I live, and they can live life without using. Like it's a small town, so it's hard to find people who are clean, like 100% clean, don't use any type of mind or mood altering substance. The whole home group's just made me feel like I'm part of something. Like they're family to me now.
Yeah.
I vouch for that group more than any other group that I've ever been to.
So the first meeting I went to at Another Chance, I automatically felt like I was home. Then I seen you walking in. I said, who is this? I ain't never seen this little dude before. And you got to sharing. I'm like, man, bro, that sounds so much like my story, bro. So I had to reach out. I had to get you on here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because sometimes we get clean, right? But I feel like we're doing people a disservice if we don't try to reach out. If we don't try to, because like people help us, it was freely given to us. So who are we not to try to help the next person? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I get so passionate about recovery, because the process can be grueling. It's a day by day process. There's no such thing as perfection in recovery. The only thing that we can do perfect in recovery is to not use. Now, we have to be perfect at that, because if not, we all know that one is too many and 1,000 is never enough.
Right.
How many times have we heard that?
Every single meeting.
Every single meeting, man, those sayings, man. Speaking of which, what's your favorite recovery saying? I know mine personally is it's got to be the one day at a time, man, because, for me, that's how I live. That's how I live in all categories of my life, is one day at a time.
I like how you asked me that because my favorite saying just got brought up in a meeting on Friday. Our only promise is freedom from active addiction.
Say it one more time.
Our only promise is freedom from active addiction. And I love that saying because
And that's a promise, bro. If we stay clean, that's the only promise is freedom from active addiction. What else could we want? We go so long out here. What was your drug of choice?
fentanyl.
If you don't mind me asking, now was you IV or did you snort or?
I just snorted.
Okay.
I got real lucky. I'm a diabetic as well, so
Yeah.
I do deal with enough needles. I didn't want to have to deal with any more.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that down the road I wouldn't have eventually got to that point. Thankfully, I caught the problem before it got to that point.
So were you doing like when heroin was around? Because I don't even feel like heroin is real heroin. I don't even feel like is around anymore. I think it's all fentanyl and all these derivatives or whatnot. But so when you first started, were you on the heroin and then that graduated into the fentanyl, or was you jump straight into the fit?
Well, it started with Percocets, and then I started getting the pressed ones with the fentanyl in it. And then it led to the point, like, people didn't look at you as bad if you're doing a pressed pill than if you are doing heroin. But the pressed pills is fentanyl, and then I could have got, it probably wasn't real heroin, but like they'll look at you a lot differently.
Yeah.
But I got to the point where I didn't care what people thought of me. Like,
Which is dumb as fuck.
yeah.
I agree with what you're saying because some people think just because they doing a perk 30 and they think it's real, but it's not, versus somebody that's doing heroin that they're better off. Not knowing that a perk 30, the same ingredient as that is in heroin. So it's this, you know what I mean? It's the same shit. Pretty much.
I stopped caring what people think, especially like when I got deeper into my use. Like, you're doing the same thing as me, but you're judging me because I'm doing it this way and you're doing it that way. Like, it confused me on how people could be judgmental when they're doing the same thing as you. But I've been in the same shoes. Like, I judged people for the longest for IV use. I'm doing the same drug, but I'm snorting it, and they're using needles. But I know I'm no better than them. They're no better than me. Like, we're all doing the same thing.
Yeah, facts. So, man, we've hit on a couple points about your childhood and kind of what brought you into addiction. Let's speak a little bit about today and let the people know, let the audience know, what are some of the things that you do on a day-to-day basis that has kept you clean?
The number one thing that keeps me clean is my family. They trust me again. They used to not trust me. I couldn't be in the house without somebody there before. Now, I get to watch the house while they're going on vacation. I still have those days. They come a lot less now than they used to, but just some days aren't good days. Those are days I go to a meeting. I call people. I reach out. Like, if I isolate, my isolation will lead to a relapse. And that's what I'm trying to avoid. Even though I just did a year in jail, like, I've only been home for 2 weeks and things are a lot better now than they've ever been. I don't even have a job yet, but I've applied to college. I've got accepted into college. I should be starting in September for a nursing career, which I didn't even think was possible with my record. And what gave me the idea to do it was a speaker at a meeting who's a nurse now. It's amazing how many doors will open when you really push for something and you really work for it. You're not going to get any results if you don't work for it. And that's the thing. I'm working every day to be a better person than I was yesterday. I always strive to be better. I want to be a good example. I got nieces and nephews who I want to be in their life and not have to talk to them over a jail phone. Them asking, "Mommy, why is he in jail?" Like, that's not the example I want to be.
Man, just sitting here listening to you, bro, like, I can literally see the passion in your eyes, bro. Like, I can tell you ain't bullshitting. I can tell you want this shit. And I can tell you getting it as well, And then when I asked you to come on to the podcast, there was no hesitation. I can tell you want to help, man. And that's what it takes. We got to do what we got to do for us. At the same time, we got to try to an extent. Now, I say to an extent because if somebody's getting high, they going to pull us in before we can pull them out. So we, like what you just said, we got to be the example. And you was talking about your family trusting you again. And a lot of people struggle with that when they first get clean, because the disease of addiction will tell you, oh, I'm clean, so why ain't these people just need to start trusting me again? Not realizing or not remembering the 10 past years of trauma that you've just caused your family.
Yeah.
So we can't expect them to let us right back in the house, to give us the key, to let us hold, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I struggle with that. You know what I'm saying? When I got clean, man, my wife would, like I would go to the store and she'd be like, calling me 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Like, I'm just going to get some gas. Nah, man, like you can't get mad, bro, because not long ago you was leaving the house, but you was going to do something else.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
go
that's
ahead.
crazy because I was hurt when they'd call me and be like, "Where you going? Where you going?" And I'm like, I'm just going to get a vape, or I'm getting some cigarettes or something. And well, okay, when you gonna be back? Like they want to know precise things. I'm like,
Yeah.
why can't you trust me? Like I haven't used, but like you said, it's 10 plus years of damage that I've caused them. They probably even shouldn't even trust me now. It takes time to build that trust up.
It does. It takes time, man. And when we get high, I always give this example. When we get high, we tear our whole house down to the foundation. And sometimes we fucking crash the foundation. So now when we're clean, we got to build a foundation and we got to start building that house up brick by brick, one
Yeah.
brick at a time. And you know what they say, we didn't become addicted in one day. So we not going to recover in one day. Even without the dope, we still got work to do. The goal is just not to stop getting high. That's not the goal. The goal is to become a better person, man, to become spiritually present in the moment, to be a totally different person than what you were. If the only goal was to stop getting high, then I don't think it's real sobriety, bro. I don't think that's real clean, like being clean. We got to stop drugs, yes, and alcohol, yes, but we got to work on other shit. And that's what I'm struggling with right now. Like what I was saying earlier, trying to live life normally without getting high. You know what I'm saying? And some days are good and some days are a little bit worse. But the main thing, if we keep the main thing, which is not getting high, then we can work on the rest. But if we put one in us, we can't work on the rest because all else goes out the fucking window. Me and
Yeah.
you both know that, Tyler, bro, like, you've had a real compelling story, bro. Like,
Thank you.
I just see so much of myself in you, bro. Like, I can tell how passionate you are. The sky's the limit for you, bro. Like, I really mean that. You go into nursing school and you gonna get all of what you want out of that. So don't let nobody come in between you and your recovery. Not a woman, not a job, not money. You can't let nothing come in between you and your recovery. And I'm sure you've heard this, everything that you put before your recovery, you will lose. And I'm speaking from experience, man.
Yeah, because without the recovery, I'm under a bridge somewhere fiending for a hit. Like, that's as simple as it gets. The recovery is what gave me these goals and motivations to move forward. So I can't ever put it above my recovery. Because, like you said, if I put it above my recovery, I'm going to lose it, because my recovery always needs to be what's most important to me. Because if I forget that, I'll think it's okay to put one in me. I put that one in me, that whole house that I just took time building up, back up, brick by brick, all the way back down to the foundation is gone.
Yeah.
Just putting one in me will do that.
Yeah. Just one. If you like me, we can't just recreationally use, man.
I can't.
How old are you, Tyler?
I'm 24. I'll be 25 in about a month.
Being in recovery, you see like I want to say it's a mixed crowd, but I want to say there's more older type of, there's more older people that you see around than young people like that. You know what I mean? Like, you 24, you in the prime age of, your buddies going to the bar and drinking and this and that. For you to realize the disease that you have, to realize that you can't do one, and to have gone through what you've gone through at such a young age, I got to commend you. I got to tell you that you are an inspiration to me personally. When I was 24, I didn't get it yet, man. I just didn't. For you to be getting it at 24, hey, man, kudos to you, man. And I wish you all the luck in life. I want to ask you, if you could just tell one person that might be listening today, what would you tell them as far as, advice on them getting clean, man? What would you tell them?
Well, first things first, you have to want it. Because you can't do it for anybody else. You can't do it because a girlfriend wants you. You can't do it because your family wants you. I've been there. I've experienced it. I've had family make me go to rehab. I've had a girlfriend tell me she's going to leave me if I don't go to rehab. I'll go to rehab and it's not a month after I get out, I'm using again because I never wanted it. It took me having to really smack the floor and beg my higher power for help, and then that help got given to me through recovery, through meetings, through sponsorship. That's what really helped me. I had to want it for myself, though. I couldn't do it for anybody else. I couldn't do it for a probation officer. I couldn't do it for anybody but for me wanting to do better in my life. And everything else comes behind that.
Hey, man, y'all heard it here first, man, from yours truly, Tyler Dodd. I appreciate you giving out the time today to come and share a message of experience, strength, and hope.
Yeah.
I want to wish you all the best in life and all your endeavors. And people, man, just remember, let's take this thing one day at a time. And continue to tune in to the Dopenly Honest podcast. Continue to like, share, and subscribe. God bless y'all. Thank you for listening to this episode of Dopenly Honest. I know all too well that recovery is an uphill battle, but there is hope. For resources, find your local NA, AA, or CR meeting. I can't stress enough how crucial meetings are to my personal recovery. If you enjoyed this content, please like, share, and meet us back right here for more episodes of Dopenly Honest. And remember, you are not alone. One day at a time, we do recover.